Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to day 8 of this amazing journey called the 30-day challenge, NLP Simplified 5 minutes per day. And today we are going to have yet another interesting thing that I would like to share with you. Today's concept is about how to start conversations. And this is going to be interesting because most of the times we feel a kind of um, a difference in terms of starting different conversations. When you go for parties, when you go for networking, when you go for any of the events, how do we start conversations? And this is to take further from the rapport building, that now that you have changed your habits, you have started building rapport with people, how do you start new conversations? And in the concept stage, there are 4 things I would like to share with you. Start with the name. Always start with the name. Then we will talk about a foot in the mouth strategy. We will talk about active listening skills. And finally, continue to build rapport. So 4 things, always starting with the name, foot in the mouth strategy, and we will discuss more about this in the mindset, active listening, and continue rapport building. Now let's see what each of these mean in terms of actually implementing it. So these are the methods for having great conversations. The first step of having a great conversation is to share your full name and ask for the name of the other person. Make sure that you pronounce it correctly and double check it. So for example, my name is Avinash Deshpande, and your name is, and you will hear a name. Repeat it again and double check that you pronounce it correctly. Step 2 is to pay attention to that answer and repeat the other person's name. Now, an important step to make this conversation amazing is to repeat that name at least 3 times in the next 5 minutes. And you will find out occasions where you could use his name again or her name again to repeat it at least 3 times in the next 5 minutes. It will make sure that you will recollect the name and the other person will have an amazing experience in terms of hearing his name. A bonus step in this one is to use their name with your questions, whether at the beginning, middle, or at the end. So if I am speaking to my wife Prachi, I would talk about, so my name is Avinash Deshpande and yours is Prachi. So how are you doing today, Prachi? Or Prachi, how are you doing today? For example, starting with the name or ending with a name or having a name in between a sentence grabs attention. The next strategy that we would like to use for making your conversations amazing is called the foot in the mouth strategy. What's a foot in the mouth strategy? It has 3 stages. Ask someone how they feel, have them verbally respond, and acknowledge that response and ask for a few minutes to discuss further. Now, this is a strategy used by telemarketers, and it makes your conversations amazing for a reason. Psychologically, when you ask somebody how they feel, they would come up with a feeling. And then when they verbally respond to you, you acknowledge it and then ask for a few minutes for discussing further. The next one is active listening. 2 parts of active listening. Repeating what the other person said. If you remember in yesterday's video, if you have not yet seen yesterday's video, please go back and have a look at yesterday's video, which talks about rapport building process. And we talked about 7 different ways to build rapport. 2 of them were parroting and paraphrasing. Active listening means repeating what the other person says. Either you parrot or you paraphrase. What it means is covered in yesterday's video. And then add a personal statement about yourself followed up with a question. So if I were to repeat, so you had an amazing vacation. I too had an amazing vacation last year. What are you going to do for the next year, for example? This is a way of active listening and ending up with a question. And the final stage of active conversations or making your conversations great is to continue to build rapport. How do you do that? Talk about three things if you do not have subjects. Talk about family, talk about work, or talk about hobbies or passions. People love speaking about their hobbies or passion. So if you are searching for a subject to talk about in a conversation, you do not know what to talk about, identify three things. If you can talk about a family, if you can talk about some work related things, or if you can talk about a hobby or a passion. Now, there are some things to remember when you are building rapport or making your conversations amazing. This important step is to make sure that you are curious, genuinely interested in other people, and observant of the responses that you receive. Please, at all these times, take notes. Taking notes will help you remember it better. Okay, just to repeat again, during all your conversations, make sure you are curious enough, you are genuinely interested in other people, and you are observant in knowing the responses that you get, and you adapt accordingly. Now, what are going to be the action steps for today? Use step 1, 2, and the bonus step with somebody today. Meaning, use their names in their conversations. Even if it is a family member, even if it is a stranger or somebody that you work with. Use a foot in the mouth strategy and identify, especially if you are on a call, try to use a foot in the mouth strategy and see what response do you get differently from how you speak normally. Go through the rapport building exercise. Whether it is for any of the things that we have done in the past, rapport building exercise will help you to really recollect and connect the dots. Okay, so if you have not seen the video, please go back and see the video, take notes, and finally share your experience in the comments below. The more you share, the more you are likely to share these experiences with other people as well. Thank you so much. This was today's 5 minutes, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.